Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Sri Sadguru Paramatmane Namaha. Sarva Maharshibhyo Namaha. 71st Sloka. Vihaya kamanyah sarvan pumanschariti nishpruhaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashantimadhigacchati. Substance. The man who, abandoning all desires, lives without any relish for them and without any feeling of I and mine attains peace. Commentary. Arjuna asked the Lord 4 questions about the Sthitaprajna. First one, what are his qualities? Secondly, what does he speak? Third, how does he move? Fourth, how does he act? From the 55th verse till the end of this discourse, all the qualities mentioned constitute the general character of the sage of steady wisdom. In this verse, again, the Lord speaks of the man who attains peace. 4 important conditions are to be fulfilled before man could experience the supreme peace of the self. Firstly, all desires should be given up completely. Second, there should not be any taste or relish for them. Third, the feeling of me and mine should be given up. Lastly, the ego-centered attitude should be dropped. The Lord repeats at the end what he was affirmed at the beginning of his estimate of the Sthitaprajna. The word all, sarvam, is repeated emphatically many times to show that all desires should be given up without any exception. Even if there is a single left in the mind, it grows and grows and binds man in samsara. It is not enough to give up desires and sense pleasures externally. The seeker should not think of them even, nor entertain any longing for them. The egocentric attitude, which is the root cause of bondage, should be eliminated by knowledge of the real self. It is the ego which attaches itself to the body and forges all the bonds of the friends, relations, enemies, and so on. It is because of the egocentric attitude that Arjuna was overpowered by delusion and sorrow at the thought of killing the people, Swajanam, in battle. When the man does not identify himself with the body, all other attachments arising from the body are removed completely. When the body is not his, how can he have any attachment for things outside the body? Knowledge of the real self clears away all doubts and perplexities, and then peace is attained. We note once again that the general term anybody, yah, is used here, implying that wisdom is not the monopoly of persons belonging to any particular caste or creed. Whoever follows the Lord and the way shown by him will attain peace. Question. Who can attain peace? Answer. The man who has given up all desires, who has no longing for enjoyment, who has abandoned the idea of mine, and who has transcended the ego attains peace. In conclusion, the Lord declares that Brahmi state once acquired removes all delusion forever. 72nd Sloka. Esha Brahmi sthiti partha nainam prapya vimuhyati sthitva syamanta kalepi brahma nirvana mruchati. Substance. Having obtained this Brahmi state, man is not deluded. Being established in this, even at the end of the life, man attains oneness with Brahman, moksha. Commentary. The final goal of Vedanta is set forth here. All the practices, restraint of the senses, mind control, abandoning all egocentric thoughts and feelings, having no consciousness of me and mine, lead to the ultimate union of the individual being with the Supreme Self. The individual who thought of himself as a separate entity now realizes that he is no other than the self, which is the reality is in himself and in all beings. This is the Brahmi state. By constant meditation on the self, the individual being becomes that, even as the worm becomes the bee, by contemplating on it deeply and continuously. When the Brahmi state is reached, all delusions cease, all doubts are cleared, the absolute truth is realized. The Lord declares that the sage who has attained this state will not be subject to delusion at any time thereafter. Even at the end of life means it does not mean that man attains the Brahmi state in the last moments of his life. It means that he retains the supreme state even at the end of life. Such a man attains moksha, the highest state of freedom and bliss. It is not possible to reach that state in the last moments of life. If one had not struggled for it through the whole lifetime by performing sadhana, even in old age, one should retain the memory of the supreme realization. What is acquired by long practice should be kept fresh in the mind, even in the last moments of one's life. The body and the mind are weak in old age, so the practice sadhana should begin when one is young and strong. The bad tendencies, samskaras, should be gradually eliminated. The mind should be purified and turned towards the self, and constant meditation on the self will lead to samadhi. And in samadhi, man realizes his oneness with Brahman. The Lord declares that he should be remembered at all times, not simply at the time of death. Moreover, what one thinks of and practices during a whole lifetime would be in the mind at the last moments. So, continuous practice is necessary. No one can say when the end may come. So, uninterrupted sadhana should go on from day to day, even from childhood. Then it does not matter when the end comes. He will be ready to face it because he knows the truth. So, instead of wasting time in foolish pursuits and vain endeavors, let the seeker start the sadhana at once and realize the truth. Question. What is Brahmi state? Answer. Oneness with Brahman, acquired through conquest of desires, self-control, meditation on Atma is the Brahmi state. Question. When should a man possess this state? Answer. At all times, including the moments of death. One man should retain this experience. Question. What will it lead to? Answer. The individual being attains moksha, the state of supreme freedom and bliss. इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासूपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे साङ्ख्ययोगो नाम द्वितीयोऽध्यायः. Thus, in the Upanishads of the glorious Bhagavad Gita, the science of the eternal, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna ends the second discourse entitled Sankhya Yoga, the yoga of knowledge.